like I said, the scripture says over here, which y'all already been talking about. Revelation 19:10. He said the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy, and this is what I would rather leave out of this world knowing, because I ain't always know this. And to get to this point, and like I said, if I sit down and tell you everything, that I've been through, to get to this point. So, but anyway, does anybody else got a testimony, where you come from, what you've been through to this point thus far? You come up and talk if you want to say anything this time. Everything's open. Everybody's got a testimony. Everybody's got a testimony. See? Come on up. This is we're all family here. You know what I'm saying? Yes, family.
Baby on my head. Hi. My name is Melissa. It's my beautiful son, Alex, from the Raleigh Rescue Mission. My second time around in the Raleigh Rescue Mission. And I finally decided that enough was enough the day that I could not feed my son. And that was probably the saddest day of my life, because I was getting ready to call CPS on myself to have him taken away from me because I couldn't take care of him. But I just was able to go through the Durham mission, and when I was there, something was telling me I needed to come back to the Raleigh Rescue Mission because I hadn't finished what I'd started. And came back to the Raleigh Rescue Mission, and it's been good ever since then. And getting my life back on track. I'm going to start going to school, and I'm going to get a home for me and my little boy again. And I had thought God had forgotten me, and that was a sad day when I thought that. But I read Psalms 116, and I realizing He didn't forget me. He was there with me the entire time, loving me, protecting us. And that's when I decided just to turn it around and give my life back to God, because He died for me and for my sins. And all He asked is for my love, for my commitment to Him. In the name of Jesus Christ. Here he goes.
All right, sisters.
Come on, girls.
Look, it's testimony time. Look, this is the let me say this. I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people look this way. And I've seen it through the years. When you start a new ministry like this, and a lot of times to be at the beginning stage of something, because this is just the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord, it ain't me, it's the Lord. This is the Lord's word. And we are at the stage, we're at the end time harvest. That's where we at.
Yes, we are.
See, and we're at the last hours. The Lord is bringing the harvest in. And I've seen time, I've told some of the sisters and Brother Alonzo and everything, the Lord, I kept going through tests and not passing tests in certain areas. So the Lord told me, He told me He'd cut me off. So He told me that one time. So a lot of times we got to go through God's chasing. We got to, whatever it is, if the Lord is getting on us about something, whatever, we got to endure it. Because if we don't, then we're just hindering ourselves from growing in the Lord and everything. But you know what I'm saying? To get to this point, and I've seen time when I first got saved, I said, man, I can't say that. See, when it come down to this, you got, and this is the thing when the Lord will develop you as far as what you got to deal with. You deal with opposition. I didn't like a lot of opposition. You don't nobody likes confrontation. Nobody. But when it comes down to this right here is the best thing anybody can come across. You know what I'm saying? Whether they realize it or not. So, I'm thankful, and each day we're going on. And when the Lord tells us to put aside the strange gods, that's what back in Genesis time, Jacob and them, and back there in Joshua's day, the Lord said, put the strange gods away. It's time to serve the Lord.
Amen.
Nowadays you gotta itemize, what that is, because if you keep stuff generic, it's everybody say amen, but then you start naming stuff. It was a different ballgame, and then they started stepping on toes.
Yes, sir.
See, but we're gonna be patient with the sisters and everything. We know there's gonna be another time.
It's coming.
But this, like I said, this is only the beginning. See, and that's the thing when it come down to ministry and things. You got to see past what you see. And I'm learning that as well. You know, you got to see past. You know, because if people, and I've learned this about people. People are bandwagoners, and this is how it is. People will jump to something that's already, you know, the hype. You know, people are, that's the way the nature of a lot of people are. You know, oh man, it's got to be something, you know what I'm saying? They want the big Christian center with, I don't know if you've seen Joel Osteen's, he's got a sports arena. As you know, just like the PNC arena, he's got a church. You know, I looked up at this. People way up there.
Way up there.
Yeah. But I learned this, you know what I'm saying? People are, that's the way it is, you know. But you, when it come down to, you got to do what you do regardless of what you see. You got to look past what you see.
That's
And
it.
everything. We're thankful, you know what I'm saying, to get to this point. I had a lot of, you know, people that, you know, some of my brothers and things, the churches I grew up in, where, you know, I've seen time the Lord had me to deal with, you know, certain ministers and pastors about certain things. So see, that takes, you know, the strength of the Lord. But anyway, we got the space to about 6 o'clock. So we're gonna get into what the Lord God said, the Lord, and
Amen.
everything. I guess I'll be holding the mic this evening because usually we got to stand. Well, like I said, this is just the start. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm just telling everybody. You gotta see past things like this. You know, everybody's not looking for the Lord.
Yeah.
And I've learned that along the way. You know what I'm saying? But and I've seen certain settings, you know, and I've been to a lot of holiness churches where its emphasis is on you got to get your shot in and all this. Okay, but at the end of the day, what's going to hold you is what you know. You know what I'm saying? And I can say this: when I used to be 15, we used to study with Jehovah's Witnesses. My mom stopped. And that's one thing I can say about Jehovah's Witnesses is they're on it. They're doing more than what a lot of Christians need to be doing. Yeah. They would take time with you. They would come to your house. You know, nowadays ain't nobody got time. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing I can say, even though, you know, their doctrine is what it is, but they were diligent on their thing. We had one man that used to come to our house every so often when we have set up a study. He would always come to your house, sit down with you, you know what I'm saying, have a Bible study, whatever. You don't find too much of that nowadays. Nowadays, you know, matter of fact, people are going to church online. You know what I'm saying? And then so the amen means you got to tweet. No, we ain't doing that.
Oh, no, we ain't going
No
to.
tweeting, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Not here. No.
But we the believers in the scriptures, the Lord said when 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, then that's what he means. You know what I'm saying? So you can't see the Lord, but you can see the manifestation of the Lord. Right? So that's what we stand on. We believe this is giving you a background of why we came up with this. This is not a name, it's not a denomination. We're just servants of the Lord, that's all that means. You know what I'm saying? When it was time for us to launch out, and we have been, you know, we've been doing house meetings for 10 years, we've done all in long.
Yes, sir.
We done been there. That's what I say. This is not something we just jumped up and did. And I've seen time when the Lord told me to launch out, and I'm scared to launch out. See, you gotta have faith. See, so this ain't just some fly by night and you woke up there. Now we done been through house meetings, we've been through all that. So to progress, you got to push forward. But this right here, this is the Lord's thing. This is the Lord's church. It's He's the Lord of the harvest, scriptures say. So we're just simply servants of the Most High. Say and here to proclaim the gospel, you know what I'm saying, according to the scriptures. And that's what we do it. That's what we do it when we're at work.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We don't come in nobody's name.
No, sir.
Look now, and who's got the car? Now let's explain this. Let me show you where we coming from. Show you where we come from. Hold on one second. Who's got the card? Who's got one of the cards? We give you a church history and all that summed up. You know what I'm saying? We give you a church history why we doing this. Yeah, we're gonna get. Matter of fact, we finna knock some stuff out the box, like we always say.
The truth.
Knock it on out. See, and I learned this about the Lord.
Yeah, this is gonna be a hard card here, bro.
I'm about to need some glasses myself.
I'm get snug if we can't lock it in.
Alright,
Probably snug if we can't lock it in. You can't lock it in, though.
somebody look get Matthew's. Let's see, I think it's. Let me look this up. Let me tell you why we got what we got.
Matthew, what now?
I believe it's. All right, somebody get. Okay, let me get the 23rd chapter of Matthew. Probably one of our. And whoever's reading, you got to read in the mic. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. All right, what is it? So this is where we come from. Who's got the card? You got the card, right? You see what the card say on it?
Miss
You got
Francie
the card.
has it.
What did the card say? Watch it. Let me show you why we doing this. What did it say? What's that say in front of my name?
Brother Anthony.
Brother. All right, that's good. Right there. I'm gonna show you where we coming from. Let's get the 23rd chapter of Matthew. See, this right here, when you come to this right here, this is not popular because you got to go against what's out here. When we going by what's written. And I've learned this about the Lord. You know, people carrying 50,000 titles, but the only thing that makes us is what the Lord has anointed us to do. So it ain't got nothing to do with what I'm called. It's what we do, right? All right.
Tell it, brother.
So what he saying?
Verse 8.
What did he say? Who's reading?
Verse 8.
She gonna read? You gonna read? You wanna read?
You want to read it?
Yeah, everybody to read. That's what we do now. You already know what we do when we at work.
We all participate.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how the family is.
We're reading from Matthew 23, verse 8.
Okay.
But you are not to be called rabbi, for you have one teacher,
All right.
and you are all brothers.
You all what?
Brothers.
Thank you.
All right. Then what? Then what is it?
And do not call anyone on earth father, for you have one Father, and he is in heaven.
All right. So that knocks out the Catholic. Right there. I'm saying that tells you somebody's not lined up.
Scared to say it.
All right. So this is where we come from. He said we're all brethren. Now, whatever the Lord anoints you to do, and it's what we do, not what we call. Right? So let me show you. Let's go to Galatians and get an example of how Paul came off. And it pretty much don't get no greater than that. You see how he comes off. Notice how Paul is one of the chief apostles.
Come on here.
What did he say? Galatians 1st chapter, verse 1. What did he say?
Paul, an apostle, not of men, neither by man, but by Jesus Christ and God the Father, who raised him from the dead.
All right. So this is how he addressed it. See, and now we learned this thing is not of men.
Come on.
It's not men, not the truth now. Not the truth, that's what he's saying. See, he didn't get this, and when you look at Paul's conversion, when he, the Lord revealed himself, so he said he got this by the revelation of Jesus Christ. Let me see, I'm trying to see that Ephesians. All right, look at, was it Romans, first chapter of Romans?
Romans.
All right, look what he said right here.
Romans.
What he said, the first chapter, first verse, what he said?
Paul, a servant of Jesus Christ, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of God.
Okay. All right, see, you notice how Paul carries himself, and see, we're called, whatever you're called to do, and when the Lord put his spirit on you, then he'll start developing what it is he called you to do. So it's not so much being called anything. Because, matter of fact, you can call it whatever, but if the Lord have anointed us, that makes all the difference in the world. It's what the Lord have anointed us to do. So you ain't got to be carrying nothing. No name, no title, anything. But it's what the Lord anointed us to do. It doesn't take, see, sometimes people get into this arrogance, where you got to address somebody. Come on, man. It's not even about that. It don't make you call my name mud. It don't matter. So if the Lord anointed us to do what we do, then that's what we're going to do.
Exactly.
But so this is so getting the understanding, so we're the servants of the Lord, so getting the understanding that the revelation of the mystery of God is amongst the saints. Revelation of the mystery. So look at 1 Corinthians 4 verse 1. And notice how the Apostle came address the Corinthians. Show you what we to be stewards of. And we thank the Lord for, I don't know who was at a wedding party or something that brought the refreshments in. There ain't nothing but the Lord there, I don't know these people from anybody. You know what I'm saying? They humbly brought it in, you know what I'm saying? Thank the Lord for doing that.
Yes, sir.
So what do you say in 1 Corinthians 4 verse 1, what is it?
Let a man so account of us as of the ministers of Christ and stewards of the ministries of God.
Mysteries, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this is what we're to be stewards of, the mysteries. And see, this is what we go in all through the Old Testament and everything. We're to be stewards of the mysteries of God. See, and so what I said a few minutes ago, we're gonna be tested. See, and it's like, can we pass the test? You're gonna be tested for the truth of what you know.
Yes, sir.
See, in order to be a steward, you have to know, how do you know that you're gonna be faithful? Somebody answer that. How do you know that you're gonna be faithful to the Lord? How do you know it? What are we required in order to get that? So if you say, well, I know I'm faithful, how would you know that you're faithful?
That's a good question.
All right, everybody feel it? So in order for us, so what we're saying is, to say that we're faithful to the Lord means that we have went through the test, and we have went through what it is we got to go through, right? In order to say that we're this and that, so it means you have been through some things.
That's it.
You have been through some things. So what he's saying now too? See, this is what we just said. What did he say in verse 2?
Moreover, it is required in stewards
Uh-huh.
that a man be found faithful.
You got to be found faithful. In order to be found faithful, you got to go through.
Gotta go through. Yes, sir.
So to be found faithful, I'm telling you, I think I told you all about this. I had a minister in his church. He believed in Jesus' name baptism. He believed in getting the Holy Ghost speaking in tongues. And he had a congregation.
He did.
So I sat down, the Lord had to take me out to sea. I was still in the Navy, took me out to sea for 3 weeks. And I had to look at this thing because I was still, I had received the Holy Ghost, but I was still wasn't quite strong enough to, to stand on that. So the Lord took me out for 3 weeks, and then when I got back, I talked to this minister, and I said, this right here, I had to, believe what the Lord had written. So I told him, I said, the Holy Spirit is not some automatic thing. It's not something you automatically receive the Holy Ghost.
No, sir.
So he said, well, no, we don't believe it that way. So I said, well, this is just where we got the part at, because the scriptures is right now. You know what I'm saying? They don't make no difference. Who wants to say what? Mm-hmm. The scripture said, let God be true and every man a lie. That's what it said.
Thank you.
All right, so look at the confidence that the Apostle Paul, looking at verse 3, listen to what he said in verse 3 in the 1 Corinthians. Notice it. See, now you might not have been at some point, you may not have been confident enough to say it like this. Notice how Apostle Paul said. What he said?
But with me, it is a very small thing that I should be judged of you.
Wow, easy. Then what?
Or of man's judgment. Yeah, I judge not my own self.
What did he say?
For I know nothing by myself,
All right.
yet I am not hereby justified. But he that judges me is the Lord.
All right, you see that?
Yes,
Now see, you got to be developed to even say anything like that, close to even say anything like that.
Yes, sir.
Somebody said, who you supposed to be?
I've heard that.
See, I think it's another scripture I'm looking for. Let me see if we can remember right offhand. But they questioned the Lord's authority. They questioned the Lord's authority. Let me find that one.
Goodness.
All right, look at this is Matthew 21. Matthew 21, verse 24. So notice how. See, this is what we're saying. There's a difference between religious people and people that are in the truth. So when you get this thing from the Lord, you got such a confidence. It's like, man, where you get this stuff from? See, and then people will start questioning you on them lines. 20, what did he say? Matthew 21, verse 24, what did he say? Watch this. They question the Lord's authority. This is the Lord now. I mean, look, it don't get no higher than that, do it?
No, sir.
Is the Lord, nobody don't get no higher than the Lord. But they question the Lord's authority. So how much you think they're going to do to us?
Amen.
What do you say?
And Jesus answered and said unto them, I also will ask you one thing.
Go back on the verse up. What do you say?
Verse 23.
What do you say?
And when he was coming to the temple,
Right?
the chief priests and the elders of the people came unto him as he was teaching, and said, by what authority dost thou do these things?
Mm-hmm.
And who gave thee the authority?
Listen, this is the Lord.
Scribes.
And then what?
And Jesus answered and said unto them, I also will ask you one thing, which if ye tell me, I and likewise will tell you by what authority I do these things. By the baptism of John, whence was it? From heaven or from men?
Okay.
And they reasoned with themselves, saying, if we shall say from heaven, he will say unto us, why did ye not then believe him? But if we shall say of men, we fear the people, for all hold John as a prophet.
All right. Hold right there.
My
So the question was this. The answer to the question he asked them was the answer for the question they asked him. So they was locked up. He said, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they would.
You know what I'm saying? They was locked up. You can't say, if you say John's baptism was from heaven,
Thank you.
all right, then the answer to that is the answer to his. That's where his came from. See, this is what we say, when this thing has been revealed, when it's been revealed, you got the truth. And see, you might have to go through some things to come to that understanding that you do have it. See, a lot of times you say, man, I thought and we always use one of the scriptures, he said, so I think we talked about this at work when he said, so whosoever has not shall be taken away even that which he seemed to have.
Yes.
What's that, Matthew? Is it Matthew 13? I think it is
I think
13.
it's Luke. I think it's Luke. I could be wrong though. Matthew 13.
Everybody familiar with that?
Let me find that.
13.
Let me find that.
All right, there it is. He says, after he spoke the parable about the sower, Matthew 13 says, verse 12, what he said? Here's the promise that the Lord have told us. This is the promise, what he said.
Verse 12. For whosoever have, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance.
Mm-hmm.
But whosoever have not, from him shall be taken away even that he have.
You see that? And that's saying if you don't have the understanding, it's going to get away from you.
Don't get away from you.
You said, man, I thought I knew what that meant. See, and that's what happens, you know what I'm saying? When you come down there, we ain't talking about, being exposed to religious stuff. But when it come down to the truth, and that's why I say it's going to be a fight, because I think we had talked about it at work, we was talking about them fowls came and devoured the seed that was sown. And the reason why is, when you look further down in that chapter, he said, 19, what he said?
When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one and catch away that which is sown in his heart.
Mm-hmm.
This is he that receives seed by the wayside.
All right, everybody straight on that? So he's saying, when you hear what we, like I say, what we talking, the gospel, and you don't understand it, he said, then, see, so what did he say in, I mean, we read in Proverbs 24 when he said, my son, eat honey because it's good, and the honeycomb is sweet to your taste.
Yeah.
So shall the knowledge of wisdom be to your soul.
Yes, sir.
When you have found it, then it's going to be a reward. What's the reward? Your understanding. You got to understand. See, because he said when you don't understand, that leaves you open, and the enemy going to come in there and get that stuff away from you.
Real quick. Yep.
See, so, but when you know what you know, and somebody come in here talking about your craziness, that you know what you know, and you're not going to be shaken.
Amen.
But when we don't have the understanding, and let me say, look, now y'all seen it yourself. We was at work. One of the sisters, we didn't get to the name, but say one of the sisters was wrestling with it. Look. So let me I think it's in Peter. Let's get Peter. Let me show you what we was experiencing there. And he's talking about the Apostle Paul. So Peter was talking about the Apostle Paul, that the wisdom that was given to him, and some people it's hard to be understood. Let's see, I think it might be St. Peter. That's it. All right, here we go. Look at 2 Peter. Now this is talking about as far as the end of all things, the Lord being long suffering, because He wants people to make it in. All right, so here in 2 Peter in the 3rd chapter, says verse 15 and 16, what is it?
15, 16. And account that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul also.
What did he call him?
Brother.
Brother. You see this? No, Paul was an apostle, just like Peter was. Well, he called him what?
Brother.
That's what we call each other. Brothers and sisters.
That's it.
You know what I mean? It ain't about us. It's all about the Lord.
Thank you.
And if we're called up to His grace and everything, then it's whatever the Lord have anointed us to do. So I call sister so-and-so might be an evangelist. Just because I call her sisters doesn't mean that doesn't take anything away from anybody what you call to do. I ain't call you nothing. It don't matter. It's what the Lord have anointed us to do. Right, so what do you say here? What do you say?
A beloved brother also according to the wisdom given unto him, that written unto you. As also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable wrestle.
That means you wrestling with the truth, wrestling with it. Instead of receiving, it's like,
Yep.
what do you say?
As they do also the other scriptures,
To their what?
to their own destruction.
See that?
Wow.
See?
Wow.
See, people will wrestle with this stuff. And we don't, matter of fact, y'all don't see it. One sister said, you don't have the Holy Spirit. I mean, it's true though. I mean, look, this stuff, we were breaking it down with clarity and everything. And then, it's like, wrestling with it.
You can't see it.
Said, look, was Jesus 30 or was he about 30? Which one was it? You know what I'm saying? Is he 30 or is he about 30? Which one is it?
Wow, man.
All right. So that's what we're saying, just like I said, you're not gonna stumble upon this. You ain't gonna find this by accident. You gotta be looking for the Lord. And even that, it's gonna be a fight because, like you said, it takes a while. Sometimes you gotta wrestle with the understanding. And once you get it, though, you got it. But it's like sometimes it's a toiling. It's like, man, stuff is not sticking. It's like, man, because I know it took me 8 months. Them Marine Bond, we went at it too, man. Because I was like, growing up in a Methodist church, and somebody in holiness came and was talking about getting the Holy Ghost and all this. I said, man, we didn't know nothing about it. We weren't taught that.